Miss Bauer, we have Miss McKinney, we have Miss Balser, we have Mr. Fine, we have Miss Taylor, we have Miss Yoder. I'll let them take over from here. Thank you. First off, we have Caitlin Brenny.
Hello everyone. I'm Caitlin Bereni. My parents' names are Amy Carrickson and Gabe Bereni. My siblings are Philip and Noah Carrickson, Cole Bereni, and Charlie Carrickson. For my senior project, I painted canvases, and I painted like a winter tree, my cat Stash, and like a quote. I am currently in Student Council, Foreign Language Club, National Honor Society. For 4 years, I was a scholar athlete in volleyball and basketball, and I'm going to go to IPFW and get my bachelor's degree in nursing.
Hello, I'm Chelsea Taylor. My parents' names are Dave and June Taylor, and I have two sisters named Brittany and Jordan Taylor. For my senior project, I made an informational and photo book about Hicksville. So I went around the town and I took pictures and researched it online and talked to people and made a Shutterfly book, which is like a scrapbook. Activities, I'm involved in volleyball and basketball and softball. I play club volleyball at Defiance Volleyball Club. I'm in Foreign Language Club, National Honor Society, Student Council, Science Club, and FCA. And I'm going to Bluffton University to study dietetics and play volleyball.
My name's Camden Yoder, and my parents are Mark and Missy Yoder, and I have a brother, Connor, and you probably all know my grandpa, Paul. And for my senior project, I got my Zumba certification, and I am involved in cheerleading, dance, Foreign Language Club, National Honor Society, Science Club, and I am in Drama Club, and I'm the vice president of my class. And after high school, I'm going to Miami University to major in medical laboratory science. I am Riley Balser. My parents are Neil and Nikki. I have 3 siblings, a sister Lainey and 2 brothers, Brant and Brody. My senior project was that I job shadowed a realtor in Defiance. I was part of the girls golf team for 4 years, and I'm a part of National Honor Society. After high school, I plan to attend IPFW to major in elementary education.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carolyn Barth, and my parents are Mike Barth and Julie Barth, and my brother is Crispin Barth, who is also here. For my senior project, I learned to play the marimba with double mallets, and it's kind of like a xylophone. So I hold 2 mallets in each hand, and I can play 4 notes at a time. And I was in the golf team. I'm in my youth group at church, and I play in my church band every weekend, and that's about a 15-hour commitment every weekend. I also work in the nursery at my church, and I work at McDonald's, and I volunteer at Dave Brown Designs in the summers. I'm a provost scholar at Wittenberg University, and I am going there for chemistry.
Hi, my name is Caitlin McKinney. My parents are Angela and Dwayne Johnson and Brad and Betty McKinney. My siblings are Callista, Delaney, and Cohen. For my senior project, I shadowed Dr. Johnson, and I was in his office and learned all that and got to watch a C-section, which didn't go over very well. I got a little sick, but I'm in cheerleading and track, National Honor Society, Foreign Language Club, and for the past 3 years, I have been a camp counselor at 6th grade camp that our school does, and I help in the nursery at my church. I am going to Miami University in the fall to study business management and do pre-med studies.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashton Bauer. My parents are Ron and Robin Bauer, and my sister is Michaela Bauer. My senior project, I remodeled our kitchen, so I repainted and tiled and redecorated it. During school, I was involved in travel softball during the summer since my 5th grade year. I played softball, cheerleading, archery, and I was in drama club, youth group, foreign language club, and National Honor Society. I was also a 6th grade camp counselor for 3 years. And in the fall, I'm going to Bowling Green State University to major in marine biology.
Hello, I'm Joshua Fine. My parents are Alice Evans and David Fine. My senior project was to create an anti-bullying campaign at the school. So I created some posters and hung those around the school, and I also created an anti-bullying PSA. Some of the things that I've been involved with, I've been involved with academic team for 4 years. I've also been in archery for 4 years. I was a Boy Scout, and I also have been in Foreign Language Club, and for the past 3 years, I was a 6th grade camp counselor. And in the fall, I will be attending Kent State University to study anthropology with a focus in archaeology.
Thank you, everyone. We actually have one more person that was not able to make it today. That is Molly Feller. She is actually our valedictorian this year, the class of 2017. I'd like to recognize the fact that her parents are Keith and Cassie Feller, and Doug and Samantha Johnson. And she has a younger brother named Jordan Wolf, who is a freshman, Brock Johnson in 2nd grade, and Emily Johnson, who is in 1st grade. Also, Kaylin Johnson in 6th grade. She's extremely busy, to say the least, and she could not make it because of a commitment for work. She actually attends Fort County Career Center, and it's actually kind of exciting for Hicksville High School to have a valedictorian come from Fort County Career Center because, just being honest, a lot of times people think that the only kids that go to Fort County are the ones that typically have special needs or are looking to only prepare themselves for a career program rather than a college program. A lot of other school districts in the area, and I like to point like Archbold, Pettisville, and some of those other schools a little bit closer. The nursing program over there is amazing. I've been to the clinics over there. The opportunities they have with that program is amazing. She's actually taken like 3 or 4 college classes at Fort County Career Center also. She's a mentor, or she's mentoring in the radiology department at CMH. She works at the Obstetrics Defiance Regional. She also has time spent at the root beer stand in Antwerp where she works, and she also works part-time at Parkview Nursing Center in Edgerton where she's actually training, I believe, STNAs over there. So she's actually accomplished quite a lot. She's also a part of the American Red Cross, and she spends time as the ambassador for her program through Fort County Career Center. And I wanted to make sure that we pointed out some of the accolades that she has, and I wish she could have made it. After graduation, she plans on attending Rhodes State College, where she plans on studying medical imaging, and of course becoming a radiology technician to hopefully specialize in ultrasounds and ultrasound. Sorry, I can't read that. Now, real quick here before I kind of hand this off to Mr. Countryman, I do like to tell our seniors when they come in here, what Rotary is. And Rotary is a community service program, and it's not just about financial support to the community, but it's also time, and it's a commitment to our community through their time. And you probably don't realize this or probably have thought about this, but looking in this room and all the people sitting in here, they've affected you in your time at Hicksville in some way. Many of you maybe have volunteered at different businesses that are here in Hicksville that they either work at or possibly own. Many of you probably have received some sort of funding through fundraising that our school does to help pay for our sports programs, our academic programs. You talk about, the Hicksville School Foundation. Where does that money come from? It comes from the people in our community. You think about our athletic boosters. Where does that money come from? It comes from the people in the community. You think about the band boosters. It comes from the people in the community. And of course, many of those people are sitting here in their business to support your opportunities at Hicksville. And again, I like to say, I've been in many different schools as a full-time teacher and as a sub. And Hicksville is a very special place. Hicksville Schools provides a ton of opportunities for their students. A lot of schools really try to control the outside of the classroom opportunities, the field trips we get to go on. The senior trips that we do are unlike anyone else in Northwest Ohio that I'm aware of. Most schools typically go to Cedar Point or potentially go to like a water park or something like that. We had the opportunity to go to Gatlinburg this year. The last couple of years they went to New York City, St. Louis, Chicago, and it'll be interesting to see what they do next year. But a lot of that stuff that happens in our school walls wouldn't be possible without Rotary and the people in this room that also are part of the Chamber of Commerce, that are a part of all these other different organizations that try to make Hicksville a great place to be. And I always say this, and it's kind of funny. I never thought that I would ever have been a Rotary member or be up here presenting in Rotary. And the 8 of you that are in here someday, when you graduate from college or end up in another career, and you end up back in Hicksville, which is a great place. You too may end up being a member here and be supporting the students of the next generation. So we thank you for all your hard work. You're all great people. You've all worked very, very hard to accomplish many great things here at Hicksville. We wish you the best of luck.
Well, it'll be a short day because typically senior recognition day usually doesn't take that long. So I wanted to talk to you about the Hicksville Shake a little bit, the 6th grade Hicksville Shake. You're familiar with that. Several of you have helped with that. I know Bruce and Cheryl, and some other people I think have helped. Anyhow, that's coming up, and Mr. Leasty's planning that. And at Hicksville, like Mr. Slattery said, we try to stay a step above everybody else. And if you think back a few years ago when I first started taking our staff to the Ron Clark Academy down in Atlanta, the whole drive for that was to change the culture and climate of our building, make it a better place to work, a better place for our kids. And, kids don't always see what we're trying to do out there, but I don't know if they can remember or if it was different for them as kids. I'd be interested to know that if you have any comments on that. But I can say that a few years ago, before I became superintendent, it wasn't the happiest place to be. There was a lot of turmoil. I'll just leave that at that. And anyhow, my first objective was to make it a better place and to bring us together as one family. I remember back when we were in 2 separate buildings and we were building the new school, one of the things that I told my staff, because we're running a business out there, just like Pat's running a business and other people are running a business. Our product is the kids. So we try to turn out good kids, but we have to treat it like a business. So, one of the things that I've always said out there is the fact that we run it like a business and we try to always turn out a good product. And so with that whole initiative that we were doing, we improved the culture and climate out there. And it is a lot better. And we brought us together as a K-12 building instead of a K-6 building and a 7-12 building. And when we moved out there, I had told my staff, because it takes a long time to put an effective business together. And I had been the elementary principal, as you know, for over 10 years. So it probably took me that long to get my elementary staff where I wanted it. It's no secret. You always have employees that you wished you didn't have. And sometimes those people left for retirement maybe, or for other reasons they found somewhere else to go because maybe it wasn't a fit for them. Doesn't mean that they weren't a good teacher, just maybe wasn't a fit. So it took me like 10 years to get my elementary staff where I wanted. So when we moved out to the new building, no offense, Mr. Slattery.
I wasn't here yet, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, okay. I told them, I said, don't cross the yellow line. Pretend there's a line down the middle of the building. Don't go on the other side, dark side we called it. That didn't go over real well with a lot of people, but it was the vision that I had for the staff that I had put together. That's not that way anymore. We are one group. We are a K-12 group, and we are coming together as one big family out there. We've got 120-some employees, and we're headed in the right direction. It's a great place to work. It's positive, and it's a great place for the kids, too. So part of that Hicksville initiative was to improve the culture and climate. I think we've done that, and it's something we're always going to continue to do and improve on. There were some other steps to the initiative that we started. One was to have high expectations for everybody, have high expectations for our kids, have high expectations for our staff. And that was like stage 2, and I think we've done that. I mean, we expect a lot out of our kids, and I hope that all of our teachers expect a lot out of them. And if something's not right, I want them to send it back and they have to do it over, because the expectation is this. And we have those same expectations for our teachers as well, and they live up to that. They work hard. I always tell them at the beginning of the year, you're mine for the next 183 days. I expect you to work hard every 183 days. And then in the summer, rest, rejuvenate, relax, regroup. And our staff does work hard. The end of the year rolls around, and there's a lot of stress, tension with testing. We've spent 16 days the state requires us to do in-state testing. You think about that, 16 days is 4 days short of a month. So we're taking almost a month out of the school year, the state does, our lovely state, which I love the state of Ohio. I'm not bashing them, but yeah, I am bashing them a little bit on some of their educational values that they do down there. So 16 days out of a month, that's a lot of time that could be spent educating them on something of greater value. And then now they have these end-of-course exams, and the kids are faced with these end-of-course exams. Sorry, I always look, you never know, it could be your mother, right? End-of-course exams, and kids are required to have a certain number of points, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to do this the simplest way. There's a certain number of points that they have to have in order to graduate. So it could potentially boil down to where someone, their senior year, has one test they have to take yet to get the required number of points they need. That's probably not the case with any of you. You all have your points, right? But if they don't get a certain score on that test, then they supposedly, this goes into effect next year, right?
Yeah.
They don't graduate.
And real quick to comment on that, the state sometimes just rolls things out and they don't think about it, and I'm sure many of us have done that in our own place of business too, get excited about something. But it affects the class of 2018, and currently the state says that 42% of all current juniors are not on track to graduate next year because of these tests. The rural areas and suburbs, I think we might have maybe 6 or 8% of our students that are on track to graduate, but we will get them to graduate. But you get into the urban districts, and they're saying it's closer to 60-70% of those kids are not on track. So they recognize that they've made some mistakes, and we're hoping that they drastically decrease testing and change the stakes that are involved in the graduation process. So
They're going to have to, because, and if you think about that, those tests are probably, 90 minutes long, Mr. Slattery? 90 minutes. So they go to school. I had a kid that came to me as a junior, and he was really concerned about not getting the 2 points that he needs yet for next year. And I said, do you really think that, I said, first of all, you don't take the test till May, and the grades aren't going to come back, the score's not going to come back till after you've graduated. So I said, I'm going to make sure we get you your diploma before that score comes back, regardless of what your score is. But you think about that. 13 years someone goes to school, they're a good kid, and decent grades, above average, and it all comes down to a 90-minute test on whether or not they're going to graduate. Isn't that asinine? It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. So they are going to have to do something different at the state level to adjust that a little bit. We are all about accountability out there. We should be held as a district to high standards, and we should have to have data that supports how well we're doing out there. But there has to be a balance of where it's effective within the school. So anyhow, that whole Hicksville initiative thing that we've got going is to make that a great place out there for our kids. And I hope that, you guys, it maybe being older, and when we started it, it didn't have the impact on you that it does with our little kids. But them, the little kids, as they're getting older now, and we see that happening, we see a difference in our kids. When our kids go somewhere and represent us at another school, we have people every time call us from that school and say how well our kids behaved or how well they handled themselves in front of other adults. And I believe that that's all part of that whole Hicksville initiative thing that we've got going. So we have the Hicksville 6th grade shake coming up, and we've done that. This will be the 4th year, I believe. So this is the 4th year for the 6th grade Hicksville shake. And what that is, to sum it up, in the few minutes that we have left here, our 6th grade teachers work with those 6th grade kids all year long on becoming someone who can shake hands with an adult appropriately and look them in the eye when they're doing it and carry on a conversation with adults effectively. We have a etiquette dinner that 6th grade teachers do, and we take the kids down to the Presbyterian church, and they're required to dress up, and we serve them food, and they're taught the correct way to eat and carry on a conversation without being a normal kid that, sometimes doesn't handle things quite the way they should. So we work with them on those social skills of interacting with other kids. And then they require them to spontaneously, they'll say to a kid, you've got 30 seconds to stand up in front of the class and tell us everything you know about peanut butter or whatever. And so a kid is expected to get up and work the classroom and tell them everything they know about a particular topic without putting in 50,000 or pausing. So they really work with skills like that. So it's been really effective. I know that our first winner of the shake was the green girl. What's her first name? Janice Green. And year 2 was Kennedy Phillips, I believe. Yeah, Kennedy Phillips. And last year was Emily Taylor. And every year, like I said, kind of like ever since I've been superintendent, every year we try to step it up and do one up better than the last year. I know there's a lot of schools in the area now that have started their own Hicksville initiative. Paulding has. People in Defiance, Tenora, Antwerp, a lot of them have. And a lot of them, they may not admit it, but a lot of them got their inspiration and their idea from us. You remember a couple years ago we did an in-service and we had like 100 and some teachers come from across the 4 counties, even further than that. And those people still contact us and want to visit. In fact, Napoleon schools are coming here, some kindergarten teachers, in a couple weeks because they want to see what we do in the classrooms.
Can I comment real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we're trying to do more for our kids to understand what they have at Hicksville. And believe me, these are our top kids. And I tell all our kids this. They don't enjoy writing papers and studying for tests and doing all stuff, but they understand the importance and they have that commitment to that, to better themselves, make their parents proud, to further their education, all that fun stuff. But we actually did a student exchange program, and I'm not going to say the school, okay? But we sent kids to another school, and then they sent their students over to our school. And when our kids came back, they were like, Mr. Slattery, we're so thankful we go to Hicksville. They could not believe the difference. And it wasn't just the classes and what they were being taught or how they were instructed. It was the respect. It was how people treated each other. It was that atmosphere that they were in and how different it was. And some of it was negative. Others, it was just, they said it wasn't right. So they go, how maybe some of these kids were treating their teachers or even how the teachers were treating the kids. And I think that's a great experience for our kids to have because, how many of you have attended a different school besides Hicksville in your life? One person? Well, sorry, Kyle. But, so they really don't know. And sometimes we have those same conversations with our teachers. We have some teachers that have never been anywhere else but Hicksville. And when they attend these same events, even if they don't like Mr. Slattery that week, okay, they come in and they say, wow, I'm happy I teach at Hicksville. That makes us feel pretty good about what we're doing out there. And I know it's not perfect, and I know that we have our own problems still, and we want to do whatever we can to fix those problems. But Hicksville's a pretty amazing place.
It is. And so anyhow, we have the 6th grade shake. This is where I was going with all that. we have the 6th grade shake coming up. And each year, what we would do is we would run the kids through 5 stations. Every 6th grade kid would go through these stations for like 1.5 minutes. And they'd have to walk into a room, and it might be different situations. I know like one year Turk had his right hand all bandaged up. So obviously, how are the kids going to react to that? Are they going to shake that bad hand, or, or what are they going to do? One time, every year we always have this one lady, she puts this great big hairy wart on her face. So, are the kids always looking at that wart, or are they looking at her in the eye? So we try to put different types of situations and see how the kids react to that. Then they're scored. There's judges, and they're scored on how they do. And then we take the top 10, and those top 10 we take down typically to the hospital, to the conference room down there, and they do a 4 or 5 minute presentation that they've all put together their own presentation, video, and so they're standing in front of, like a room full of adults. I think there's like maybe 8 adults there, and they're presenting this presentation, and then they're rated or judged on that as well. And we have a scoring guide that everybody uses the same scoring guide. From there, each year we've taken we reduced that number down to 3, take the top 3, and they go to the country club. We've always went there, and Jim and Karen and myself have lunch with them, the 3 finalists, and carry on a conversation with them during lunch, and then we select from the scores of the whole thing for those 3 and select the shake winner. Well, like I said, every year we always try to do things a little bit better, and I always think big, and so we're doing it a little different this year. In fact, we're meeting with the 6th grade this Friday to tell them what's happening so that they know, and we've got some incredible kids in 6th grade that, one of the things I always do is I meet with the board in December before one of our board meetings, and they carry on a conversation with the board members, and it's pretty neat. And this year they did it, and it's like, oh my gosh, these kids, they just keep getting better and better at speaking in front of adults. So I said, we have to do something different. Plus, other people are doing their own version of the shake thing around other schools, and we always want to be above everybody else. So this year, we are making it a 2-day thing. So day 1 will be where all of them go through the 5 stations, and the top 10 will go to the hospital, and from there it's going to get narrowed down to 5. Those 5 we're going to be taking by limo to a place in Fort Wayne, and I have some Fort Wayne people that are going to be judging, and they'll have lunch at this place. I don't want to give away all my secrets yet, and they'll be having lunch, a very nice lunch at this place, and there'll be different set of judges. Some of them that won't know our kids at all, and our kids will have to randomly stand up and do a brief little presentation, and then have lunch with all the judges that we have there. And then of those 5, a winner will be selected, and then they're coming back, and then we will announce to, I'm not sure if it'll be K-12 or K-6, the winner, this year's winner of the Hicksville Shake. So we've really tried to step it up and make it even more challenging for our kids and see how well they do. So here's another piece to that that I want to share with you. First of all, if anybody, we have started an account at the Hicksville schools called the Hicksville Initiative, and the PTO gave me some money to put into that account, and we use that money for things that the general fund can't pay for, like all the things that I just said surrounding the Hicksville Shake. You can't use general fund money for that. So that has to come from other areas, and we sell t-shirts to try to keep some money going into there. But if anybody wanted to help sponsor any part of the Hicksville Shake this year, we would really appreciate it, because obviously with going to Fort Wayne, there's going to be a greater increase. So if anybody wanted to be like a sponsor and send some money our way, I'd love that. That'd be great. But anyhow, the winner of the Shake, this kind of all started because we went to the Ron Clark Academy in Atlanta, and they do their own version of their shake there. and their kids are flown to New York. Their last 3 or 4 finalists or whatever flown to New York. I mean, it's big time stuff for them. You've been there, Julie, so you know what I'm talking about. Well, they're starting a national competition for all these different schools that are doing what we're doing, and then they're going to have anybody that wants to come down and participate in their version of that shake for all those different schools across the nation, or the world for that matter, because there's a lot of schools that have come from all over the world to visit this school. So our winner this year, next year's the first year they're doing that in February. Our winner, we're hoping, will be able to go to Atlanta and compete in the Ron Clark shake competition that will be a national type competition. So that's pretty cool. And that would be a neat thing for our kids to have that opportunity, for one kid to have that opportunity to represent our school down there. And it's a pretty impressive place. I know, Julie, you've been there, and anybody that's been there can tell you it's pretty life-changing to go there and experience what they're doing for their kids. So anyhow, I wanted to tell you that we're stepping it up out there at Hicksville. We're trying to do that always. Every decision and stuff that we try to do, we always are doing it for our kids to try to make it better for them. And I hope that, usually kids don't really get and see all that, but when they get older, they do. And I've had kids come back and tell me, Mr. Countryman, Hicksville is a cool place, and we wished we would have done things a little differently when we were out there. But they see it, as we all do when we get older, we see and recognize things differently. So anyhow, I wanted to share with you what we're doing with the Hicksville Shake, and again, throw out there that if anybody wanted to help sponsor any portion of it, we would really appreciate that. So thank you very much.